Don't wait up, he texted. I stared at the message for a full minute before setting the phone back on the table. The candlelight flickered, casting soft shadows across the linen napkins I'd ironed an hour ago. His plate was untouched. Mine, too. He must really love his job, I muttered, trying to laugh. The sound was hollow, even to me. I stood, walked to the oven, and turned off the warm setting. Dinner had gone cold. Again, the card I wrote, 2 weeks of rewriting and erasing and tearing up drafts, sat at his place setting. He wouldn't read it. Not tonight. Not ever, probably. At 8:37 p.m., I poured myself a glass of wine. I told myself I wasn't checking the clock. At 9:21, I started pacing. At 10:04, I stopped pacing and stared at the photo of us on the fireplace mantel. Bali, year 2, before the job took over, before his eyes stopped lighting up when he saw me. By 11:12, I was sitting on the couch in my red silk dress, the one he used to say made me look like fire, now wrinkled and wasted against the cushions. My bare feet were tucked under me. The heels were kicked off near the door like surrendered weapons. At 11:50, I picked up my phone. Where are you? I whispered out loud as I unlocked it. I wasn't even sure who I was asking. I opened our shared location app. My thumb hovered. For a second. I almost didn't tap. But then I did. Downtown. The Midtown Grand Hotel. A chill went through me. Not a restaurant? I whispered, trying to rationalize. Maybe the client's staying there. I clicked into the location. It hadn't moved in over 2 hours. I called him. Voicemail. I called again, still voicemail. I didn't cry, instead, I whispered, Happy anniversary, James. The candles had burned down to puddles of wax. I blew them out one by one, watching the smoke curl up toward the ceiling. The air smelled like burnt vanilla. My phone buzzed. James, sorry, dinner ran long. Crashing here. Didn't want to wake you. Crashing here, crashing, I repeated out loud. Like it was some sleepover with buddies. I typed back slowly. Me. Who's the client? 3 dots. Then they disappeared. Came back again. James, long story. I'll tell you tomorrow. Love you. Love you. I locked the phone and set it on the floor. Then I laughed. A soft, broken sound. I walked to the mirror in the hallway. My makeup was smudged. Lipstick faded. Mascara had left a faint trail under my eyes. I didn't look like fire. I looked like ashes. I pressed both palms against the wall and leaned forward. Forehead against the cool surface. He's cheating. The words didn't scream. They whispered. He's cheating, I said, this time louder, to hear how it sounded. My own voice startled me. No, I answered myself. No, maybe it's not that. But my voice cracked. My throat burned. I walked back to the kitchen. Opened the fridge, stared inside like it would give me answers. Nothing did. I picked up the card from his plate. Slid it back into the drawer. I sat on the floor, back against the cabinets, staring into nothing. 12 years. 12 years of loyalty, of partnership, of believing in us. And he didn't come home. Not a call. Not a flower. Not a sorry. I heard my own voice again, cold and detached. He was at a hotel. On our anniversary. I stood up, slow and heavy, like my bones didn't quite remember how. I went to the bedroom. Took off the red dress. Laid it on the bed. Changed into a hoodie and sweatpants. I in the mirror. I looked like a woman erased. At 12:36 a.m., I climbed into bed. His side was still perfectly made. I stared at the ceiling. At 12:42, I whispered, this is the night everything changed. I didn't sleep. I didn't cry, but I felt something harden inside me. Something that used to be soft, something that used to believe him. Who's Amber? I asked one morning, casually, as I handed him his coffee. He blinked. Amber? Yeah. Missed call last night. I saw the notification. I sipped my own coffee, acting like I hadn't memorized the number. Oh. She's one of the girls on the marketing team. She called about the product launch. At 11:47 p.m.? He frowned. It's crunch time, babe. Deadlines don't sleep. Neither. Do liars, I whispered under my breath. He didn't hear me. Or pretended not to. I didn't press. Not that day. I started waking up before him. Not for breakfast. For answers, while he snored, I scrolled. His phone didn't have a password anymore. Probably forgot I ever noticed. There was a message from J, lunch today? Just us. James, wish I could. She's been suspicious lately. J, I whispered. Just us, who are you? I clicked the contact Ava Jensen. I stared at the name. Then stared at the wall. Everything okay? He asked that night at dinner, of course. You're quiet. Just tired. He looked relieved. That stung. I kept a notebook, not a diary. A ledger. April 9th, said meeting went late. Shirt smelled like expensive perfume. Not mine. April 12th, deleted texts. Message preview from Ava seen on lock screen. Gone minutes later. April 16th, laughed at something on his phone. Didn't show me. I named it my sanity. Hey, I said one night while he was flossing. Do you think people change? He paused, toothpaste on his chin. Huh? Like, when did we stop talking before bed? He smiled faintly. Life, babe. It gets busy. I nodded. Yeah, it does. That night, I added another line in the notebook, April 19th, called Meet Babe again. He only uses pet names now. Never my real name. Do you love me? I asked one morning as we brushed our teeth side by side that he glanced at me through the mirror. What kind of question is that? A yes or no one. He shrugged. Of course I do. Don't be weird. I rinsed and left the room. That, of course, felt like a default setting. Not a declaration, you're paranoid, I whispered to myself in the laundry room, folding his socks like it was sacred work. People work late. You've worked late. People forget anniversaries. That doesn't mean, my throat tightened. I dropped the socks. I picked up the notebook instead. April 24th, started lying to myself. Again. One night, I tested him. I texted, me, thinking of you. Love you. He didn't reply, but I heard him laugh in the living room, just not at my message. Later that night, I saw him texting. He didn't notice me watching. Want to go away next weekend? I asked. He looked up. Where? Anywhere. Just us. He hesitated. Can't. Q2 reports. It's hell. Right. I smiled. But inside, I circled the date in the notebook, April 28th, Q2 excuse. Again. Same week. Ava's IG shows hotel pool stories. Midtown Grand tagged. Why don't you talk to anyone about this? My reflection asked one night. Because no one wants to hear a woman dissect her own heartbreak with a scalpel. I replied out loud. I wasn't ready for the truth to echo back to me from someone else's voice. I barely survived hearing it in my own. Let's have a baby, I said, just to see. His face. He choked on his orange juice. What? A baby. He stared at me. Why now? Why not? His voice went flat. It's not a good time. Right. Q2. He flinched. I smiled, then wrote, May 2nd, he flinched. I started following Ava on Instagram from a burner account. She posted pictures of sunsets. Fancy dinners. Hotel carpets. Once, I recognized the cuff of his suit sleeve in the corner of a wine glass reflection. It wasn't even about catching him anymore. It was about proving to myself I wasn't insane. Your phone keeps going off. I said while we were watching a show. He picked it up quickly. Spam. Spam's really persistent these days. He nodded. Didn't look up. I leaned back and stared at the ceiling fan spinning in circles. So were we. I stopped trying to kiss him first, stopped texting good mornings, stopped saying, I miss you. And he didn't notice, which was how I knew for sure. May 9th, I stopped being me. And he didn't even notice. Are we okay? I asked. He didn't answer. He just kissed my forehead and left. That was worse than a no. I kept watching, but now, I was watching myself, watching the way I bent, watching the way I shrank, watching the way I disappeared in my own marriage, and for the first time, I wondered what it might feel like to stop watching and start acting. New message from Ava Jensen. The banner flashed across the top of his iPad. He was in the shower. I didn't mean to. I didn't go looking for it. It found me. I tapped it. Ava, missed your hands today. Last night was, God. You're addictive. I blinked, scrolled down. Ava, still thinking about that thing you whispered. Baby, you ruined me. I dropped the iPad like it burned me. It slid off the couch, landed with a soft thud. Shit, I whispered. He was humming. Water still running. I picked it back up. My hand was trembling, the message was still open. A baby, she called him baby. I clicked her name. Her email, there were more. So many more. Ava, don't forget our 7 p.m. tomorrow. Same room? I'll wear the green one. The green one. She had a drawer in our life. I stared at the words. I couldn't cry. I couldn't move. Babe. His voice called from the bathroom. Where's my towel? I blinked hard. On the hook. Right there. He chuckled. Got it. My thumb hovered over the screen. Forward. I tapped it.to, me, subject, proof. Send. The email disappeared. I locked the iPad, placed it back exactly where he left it. He walked out moments later, towel low on his hips. Hey, you okay? I smiled. Yeah. Just tired. Vos Ava? I asked at dinner. His fork paused midair. Ava? Ava Jensen. He put the fork down slowly. Why? I saw a notification pop up the other night. Just curious. He gave me a smile too practiced. She's one of our clients. Oh? I sipped my wine. What kind of client calls you, baby? His face drained. I didn't blink. You, how? Did you left your iPad unlocked. The message popped up. He rubbed the back of his neck. You shouldn't be reading my messages. You shouldn't be screwing your client. I didn't say that. You didn't deny it. Silence. She's nothing, he finally said. She writes like she thinks she's everything. I opened the forwarded email that night, read it again, then again, missed your hands. I touched my own hand. It felt foreign. I typed her name into Google. Ava Jensen. Marketing strategist. Phoenix, AZ. Her LinkedIn photo glowed with filtered confidence. Blonde. Thin. Perfect teeth, the kind of woman who knew the power of her walk. I knew her. I'd met her 3 years ago. James' office holiday party. I wore a burgundy wrap dress, she wore green satin. Oh my god, you must be his wife, she'd said, arms already wrapping around me. You're so lucky, she whispered, pulling back. I thought she was being sweet, she was staking a claim. You remember that party? I asked him later, lying beside him in bed. What party? Your office holiday party. The one at the rooftop bar. Ava was there. He shifted. Maybe. She hugged me. Told me I was lucky. She's friendly. She's a liar. She's not. Don't defend her. He sat up. It's complicated. It's betrayal. I didn't mean, I don't care what you meant. You don't understand, he said the next morning, following me into the kitchen. I think I do. I didn't plan it. No one ever does. Affairs just happen like rain? You just tripped and fell inside her. He winced. It started after that big fight. You remember? The one where I asked you to come home earlier, and you said I was suffocating you. He looked away. I was under pressure. So you cheated. I was lonely. I stared at him. So was I. I didn't fuck a stranger. He slammed his hand on the counter. Stop making me the villain. I stepped back. Then stop acting like one. I sat at my laptop that night, typed her name again, Ava Jensen. Twitter. Instagram. Point 1. Photo stuck out, her hand over his on a wine glass. Only his cuff showed. But I knew it. He wore that shirt to our anniversary dinner last year, the one where he forgot his wallet and made me pay. I saved the photo, added it to the file I titled Rot. You're obsessed, he said when he caught me looking at her profile. No, I replied. I'm wide awake. You're being dramatic. She calls you baby. He didn't answer. She misses your hands. He still said nothing. You smiled at her like you used to smile at me. He exhaled slowly. You were always going to make this harder than it had to be. And you were always going to pretend I was the problem. Lena, my best friend, called that night. You sound off, she said. I'm tired. James? Silence. Oh God. Did he? Her name's Ava. There was a pause. I've heard of her. What? She's been to some of the firm mixers. She talks. You knew? No. Just rumors. Nothing solid. Rumors are never just rumors. She sighed. Do you want me to come over? No, you shouldn't be alone. I already am. He came home with flowers 2 days later. I looked at the bouquet. Lilies. I hate lilies. They're beautiful, I said, voice flat. He looked relieved. I placed them in a vase. Then poured bleach into the water. That night, I stood over him as he slept. He looked peaceful. I didn't feel anything, not anger. Not sadness, just absence. I whispered, she calls you baby. He stirred. I didn't care. I printed the email, folded it once, slid it into a drawer beside my wedding vows. They both sounded like fiction now. The rice is dry, he said, poking it with his fork like it offended him. Then don't eat it. He glanced up, surprised. Bad day? Not as bad as yours is about to be. He raised an eyebrow. What's that supposed to mean? I picked up my glass. Took a slow sip. My hand didn't shake. Who is Ava? He froze. Fork in midair. Then he blinked. Ava? Don't repeat it. Just answer. He set the fork down carefully, like he suddenly respected the table. She's a client. I nodded. A client. She's working with us on a pitch. Why? I smiled. That's funny. Because your client sent you an email calling you baby and said she missed your hands. His mouth opened. Closed. Then opened again. That's. You went through my email? You left your iPad open. That's private. That's cheating. No, he stood, chair scraping loud against the tile. You're twisting this. That email, God, you're being paranoid. Insecure. Emotional. Irrational. Say the whole script, James. He rubbed his temples. It's not like that. Then tell me what it's like. She's just someone I've been talking to. Talking to. Yes. Is that what you were doing with your hands? Talking? He looked away. You slept with her. Silence. Say it. I didn't mean for it to happen. Say it. He met my eyes. Yes. Okay? Yes. I did. I swallowed hard. How long? He didn't answer. How long, James? 3 months. 3 months. Maybe 4. I let that number echo. You looked me in the eye every day and late. I didn't want to hurt you. I laughed. So you cheated to protect me? I was confused. No. You were greedy. I wasn't getting what I needed. And you couldn't ask for it? I tried. You shut down. You blamed me before you even apologized. I'm not blaming you. You literally just did. He sighed. You don't understand. Try me. I felt dead inside. Okay? Everything became routine. The house. Us. You barely touched me. I barely recognized you. I needed something different. So you bought it in a hotel room. His jaw clenched. It wasn't like that. Then tell me, James. Tell me what it was like. She made me feel wanted. And I didn't. You were always busy. Distant. Cold. I was tired. From holding up this entire marriage. He stared at me. She didn't have to deal with the bills, or your moods, or your mother, or your lies. She got the fun version of you. I got the rest. I never wanted to hurt you. Yet here we are. I stood. I'm sorry. I didn't move. I really am. I leaned on the table. You didn't cry when I found out. What? You didn't even flinch. That's not fair, you smirked, James. He looked down. You looked at me like I was a problem that solved itself. I panicked. No. You were relieved. He opened his mouth. Closed it again. Say something. Say anything real. I'm sorry you had to find out this way. I stared at him. That's what you're going with? He nodded slowly. It sounds like I spilled coffee on your shirt. He looked away. You think this is over? I think we need to talk. Really talk. We just did. Please don't do this. I'm not doing anything. You're ending us. No, James. You ended us. You knew? I asked. Lena looked down into her drink. I didn't want to be the one to tell you. How generous. It was rumors at first. Office talk. Nothing solid. You hugged me while he was hugging her. I didn't know it was real. You didn't ask. I didn't want to get involved. You already were. She reached for my hand. I pulled it back. I thought you were my friend. I am. No. You're Switzerland. And in this war, neutrality's betrayal. Ava? I asked Mark over the phone. He hesitated. What about her? She and James. A long pause. You knew, I whispered. I didn't want to stir anything. You saw them? I saw him get into her car. Once. When? January. January? I figured if it meant something, he'd tell you. He didn't. Then maybe, don't defend him. I'm not. You all watched me smile in rooms she'd just left. I'm sorry. Not as sorry as he's going to be. You should forgive him, my mother said, dabbing her tea with honey. I stared at her. Men stray. It happens. Your father, nope. Stop right there. Marriage is about endurance. Not betrayal. He still comes home to you, doesn't he? So that's the standard? He cheats but remembers his address, so I should throw him a party. I'm saying, maybe don't burn it all down. It's already ash. I walked past his sister at a family brunch. She leaned in. Can we talk? I stopped. Now? I didn't want to take sides. You went dress shopping with her. I didn't know she was. I thought they were just close. You told her where we vacationed. She posted from the same resort. She blinked. You fed the affair, Amanda. I didn't mean to. But you did. We still had breakfast together. Cream? He asked, holding up the carton. I nodded. Thanks. He buttered his toast. Meeting with Greg at 10. I took a bite of eggs. That's nice. The silence was too clean. Too rehearsed. I stared at him chewing. He stared at the newspaper and that's how it went every single morning. I moved into the guest room. He didn't ask why. He didn't ask anything. He just started using the whole closet again. I packed my underwear into the same drawers as spare batteries and old Christmas cards. Even my socks didn't belong here anymore. You okay? Lena texted. I didn't reply. You still mad? I turned off my phone. At a dinner party, one of his colleagues raised a glass to James and his relentless work ethic. Polite laughter. I smiled. So relentless he schedules meetings at hotels. His hand squeezed my thigh under the table. I kept smiling. The betrayal stopped being about him. It became about everyone who stayed quiet, everyone who watched me live a lie, everyone who let me love him alone. Are you sleeping? He asked through the guest room door. I said nothing. I miss you. Silence. We can fix this. I turned off the lamp. He didn't knock again. At work. I stared at my screen for hours, open tabs, blank documents, heart pounding, but I typed nothing. My brain was screaming. My mouth stayed shut. You look pale, my coworker said. Thanks. Everything okay? Perfect. You sure? Absolutely. Because it was easier to lie than unravel. One morning, I made pancakes. He walked in, surprised. You cooked. I poured syrup. We had bananas going bad. He sat across from me. This is nice. I chewed slowly. Is it? He didn't answer. After breakfast, I poured the rest of the batter down the sink. I stared at it swirling. That's what my trust looked like now. Thick, messy, circling the drain. I started talking to myself. I in the car. I in the shower. I in my head. I said everything I couldn't say out loud. You knew. You let me be the fool. You smiled while I sank. James leaned against the doorframe one night. I talked to Ava. I looked up. She said she wants to back off. I blinked. How noble of her. I told her we're working through things. I tilted my head. Are we? I want to. I folded my arms. You also wanted to sleep with her. He sighed. You're not making this easy. Good. I sat alone on the back porch that night, wrapped in a blanket, holding my wine like a weapon, and I realized I hadn't been lonely because he cheated. I'd been lonely for years. She's been different, he said to Lena at the barbecue. I was standing close enough to hear, cold, distant, like, emotionally unavailable. I set my drink down. Lena glanced at me. I'm sure she's just processing. He shook his head. I try to talk to her. But she shuts down. I walked up. Funny. I thought it was you who shut the door on us. He blinked. I didn't say that. No, you're just performing now. Carry on. I walked away. Later, I got a text from Mark, just checking in. Heard you and James have been having a hard time. Me, did he cry to you too? Mark, he said you're not the same. Me, good. People are talking, he said that night, let them. You don't care about your reputation? I laughed. Says the man who cheated with a coworker in public. He crossed his arms. You're making me out to be the bad guy. You made yourself the bad guy. He pointed at me. You've been going through my phone, snooping, like a warden. Because my husband was sneaking out of our marriage. You're suffocating. And you're a liar. I found out he told Amanda I was emotionally volatile. She repeated it like a concern. He says you scream at him. That you throw things. I've never thrown anything except his words back at him. I just don't want things to get toxic. They already are. He cried in front of Lena again. We used to be happy, he sniffled. She doesn't even look at me anymore. She's somewhere else. I was right there, sitting on the couch like furniture, watching my betrayal being repackaged as tragedy. For him, you're painting yourself as the victim, I said that night. He looked up from his laptop. I am a victim. I blinked. You cheated. I didn't want to. You pushed me away. You're rewriting the story. I'm trying to survive it. You burned the house down and now you're cold. You should come back to church, my mother suggested. Why? People are asking about you too. Let them ask him. He's hurting. I raised an eyebrow. He said you aren't forgiving. He said that? She nodded, interesting. The next time someone asked, how are you too? He answered. First, we're working through it. I said nothing. He smiled like that proved his point. You've changed, Lena said gently. I've adapted. You seem hard. I'm not a pillow. You know what I mean. I stopped bleeding. For people who keep stabbing. She didn't respond. I started therapy, the first session. I stared at the floor. The therapist smiled softly. Where would you like to begin? I don't know, I whispered. Everything feels upside down. She waited. I found out he was cheating. And now somehow, I'm the villain. She tilted her head. Do you feel like the villain? No. But everyone else seems to think I am. Why do you think that is? Because I stopped playing nice. She nodded slowly. Do you still love him? I don't know. Do you love yourself? I looked up. My throat went dry. I used to. At home, I stood in front of the mirror. No one's going to save you, I whispered, and I believed it. At a dinner, one of his friends pulled me aside. Go easy on him. He's been going through a lot. I stared at him. I caught him having an affair. The friend blinked. He didn't mention that. Of course not. I came home one night and found him cooking. He smiled. Thought I'd make dinner. Why? Because we used to enjoy this. I stared at the pasta boiling. You think penne fixes betrayal? He looked hurt. I'm trying. No. You're covering. He said nothing. He posted a throwback photo of us. Caption, through ups and downs, I'm still holding on. I didn't like it. Didn't comment. He texted me, you're making me look stupid. I replied, you did that on your own. My therapist asked, what are you afraid of? Becoming bitter. Why? Because that's what they want. So they can say, see? Told you she was difficult. He called me controlling because I didn't smile when he walked into a room, because I stopped folding his laundry, because I asked for answers he didn't want to give. You're not the woman I married, he said during a fight. I smiled. Neither are you. They say the truth sets you free, but first, it isolates you, and in that isolation, I began to heal, not loud. Not fast, but real. Did you eat? He asked, walking past me toward the fridge. I didn't answer. He opened it, grabbed a beer, popped the cap, and didn't even glance back. That's when I knew I didn't exist to him anymore. Or maybe I finally matched what he'd made me feel like, invisible. I stopped cooking. He didn't notice. I stopped doing his laundry. He folded wrinkled shirts. Without a word. I stopped texting. He didn't ask why. You heading out? He asked one evening, watching me tie my shoes. I nodded. Where? Out. With who? I shrugged. Okay, be safe. That was it.no fight.no curiosity.no care. I stopped wearing makeup. He didn't blink. I started going to bed at 8. He never followed. I could have vanished into the drywall, and he would have slept through it. You okay? Lena asked over the phone. I don't know, I whispered. What's going on now? Nothing. Still the affair? It's worse. How? I stopped existing. I started leaving dishes in the sink. He didn't touch them. I walked around barefoot just to hear something alive moving through the house. My own footsteps became the only sound that reminded me I was still here. One night, he walked in from the gym. You didn't make dinner? I stared at the stove. I'm not your wife anymore. He scoffed. You're still in this house. So is the dog bed we threw away. Doesn't mean anyone uses it. At 10:47 p.m. on a Thursday, I watched him put on cologne. You going out? I asked. He paused, just grabbing a drink with Mark. In jeans and aftershave? He gave a tight smile. Don't start. I haven't started in months. He grabbed his keys. You smell like loyalty, I muttered as he walked out. I followed him. No plan. Just instinct. I drove 3 cars behind. Headlights off when I could. He pulled into a driveway, not a bar, not Mark's. A house, her house. I knew it was hers. Ava, they hugged at the door. She kissed him, her arms went around his neck like mine used to. He pulled her close, forehead to hers. He was smiling. I wasn't angry. I wasn't heartbroken. I was empty, and that felt worse. I sat there. Across the street. In the dark. Car off. Heart cold. Is this what love becomes? I whispered. No one answered. He stayed an hour. When he walked out, he looked young. Relaxed. She stood in the doorway, barefoot, grinning. He kissed her again before walking to the car. I drove home first, beat him there, turned off the lights, pretended to sleep. He came in quiet, like he thought I wouldn't know. The next morning, I made coffee. I didn't pour his. He walked in, shirt half tucked. Morning. I said nothing. You're up early. Still nothing. Okay. He walked out. You're cold, he said that weekend. You don't even try anymore. Neither do you. I'm here, aren't I? You're here like wallpaper. Just there. He crossed his arms. So you're giving up? I already did. I went to the mirror that night and stared at myself. I miss me, I whispered. I bought a notebook. Not for notes. For a plan. Every tab, a section. Of my new life, bank accounts, lawyers, passwords, new apartment listings. You doing something different with your hair? He asked. I tied it up tighter. No, looks nice. I didn't say thanks. You never talk anymore, he said. You never listen. He sighed. What do you want from me? To stop asking that like I didn't answer it 100 times. Already. He forgot our anniversary again. I didn't remind him. Instead, I took myself to dinner. Wore a black dress. Ordered wine, sat across from no one. But at least no one lied to me. I started running in the mornings. Where were you? He asked, seeing my sneakers by the door, outside. Doing what? Leaving pieces of you behind. He laughed like I was joking. I wasn't. Ava sent him a text while he was in the shower. I didn't open it, just stared at the preview. Ava, thinking about last night. You were incredible. I didn't cry. I didn't slam the phone. I just turned it face down and walked away. You're acting like a ghost, he said during dinner. I set my fork down because I died, I said softly. When? The night you made her feel more alive than me. He said nothing. I stopped waiting for closure, started building escape, piece by piece, day by day. I walked through our house like a haunted thing, but not broken. Not begging, not grieving. I was rising, quietly. You're up early, he said, walking into the kitchen. I nodded. Just organizing some things. He yawned. You never stop. You'd be surprised. I made a checklist that morning. Email. Threads, check. Text screenshots, check. Hotel receipts, check. Photos, definitely check. Hi, I'm looking for a divorce attorney, I whispered into the phone in the backyard. Yes, I need someone discreet. I'm meeting a friend. For lunch, I told him on Tuesday. He barely looked up. Cool. I met with a lawyer. We talked asset division. He slid papers across the table. You've got more than enough, he said. But I suggest moving fast. Quietly. I don't want revenge, I said. He smirked. You just want your life back. Exactly. I opened our joint account, transferred half, then opened a new one, my name only. When the confirmation pinged, I felt my heartbeat steady. You're glowing, Lena said when we met for coffee. I stopped waiting for someone to save me. She leaned forward. So it's happening? I sipped my drink. Soon. Have you told him? I shook my head. Not yet. At home, I cleaned out my desk drawer, passport, birth certificate, copies of the house deed. I paused at our wedding. Photo. I slid it out of the frame and left the empty glass on the shelf. You've been working late a lot, he said Thursday. Yeah. Everything okay? Better than ever. He narrowed his eyes. You sure? I smiled. Completely. I applied for a promotion, wrote the email without fear, attached everything with precision. 3 hours later, I got the interview. I called. No one just sat there. Smiling, not because I was happy, because I was in control. You look different, he said one morning. Different how? More focused. I shrugged. Maybe I just stopped waiting for change. I went through his messages again, still lying, still Ava, still secrets, but I didn't cry out. I saved them, every single one. Do you still want to go to the beach this summer? He asked over dinner. No, why not? I don't want to pretend anymore. He frowned. Pretend what? That we're still something. I found the storage key in his desk drawer, opened the unit while he was at work, boxed memories, our engagement album, letters, old cards. I took what mattered to me, left the rest. I scheduled the meeting Saturday. 11:00 a.m. our favorite cafe where he proposed, where we used to laugh, where I'd let it all go. He walked in 5 minutes late. Sorry, he said, sliding into the booth. Traffic. No worries. He looked around. This feels nostalgic. I nodded. It is. He smiled. We could start over, you know. Sometimes I think I'm leaving you. The smile vanished. What? I've already filed. You'll be served next week. His mouth opened. You're not serious. I'm very serious. You don't want to talk about this? I've talked enough. You're just walking away? No, I said calmly. I'm walking toward myself. I pulled out an envelope, placed it on the table. What's this? A breakdown. Finance. Property. Copies of everything. You've been planning this? For months. He stared at the envelope. I thought we were working through it. You were still cheating. He looked away. I know about Ava. Still. Always. I thought you forgave. I never said that. You're making a mistake, he said, voice low. No. You did. Repeatedly. I can change. You had years. I love you. No, I said. You love control. Not me. He sat back. Is this about revenge? No, then why? Because I want my peace back. I stood. He stayed seated. You'll regret this, he said. I shook my head. I already regretted staying. I walked out, into the sunlight, not broken, not bitter, just free. He walked in late, smug, like this was a date, not a goodbye. Sorry, he said, brushing invisible lint from his jacket. Parking was hell. I didn't smile. He sat across from me. You look good. I stayed silent. He flagged the waiter. Bottle of red, please. Something bold. I watched him. This place brings back memories, doesn't it? He asked. It does. He chuckled. You remember our first time here? Yes. You ordered sea bass and spilled wine all over your dress. No, I corrected. You bumped the table. Still funny. I took a breath. You wanted to talk. Right. Yeah. So, he leaned in. I've been thinking. I waited. I know things got messy. And I'm not proud of everything. But I think, maybe, we still have something worth saving. I raised an eyebrow. I mean. It, he said. I miss you. I miss us. He poured the wine. We can start again. Wipe the slate clean. Start again, I repeated. He smiled like I agreed. Exactly. I know I screwed up. But I'm ready to put that behind us. And Ava? He paused. She's out of the picture. Is she? Yes, he said too quickly. I told her it was over. I tilted my head. When? Last week. Interesting. Why? Because I saw you with her on Tuesday. His face tightened. You're spying on me? No. I just happened to be standing on the same sidewalk while you kissed her neck. He opened his mouth. Closed it again. The wine sat untouched. You don't get to rewrite things, I said. I'm trying to fix them. By lying? It's not lying. It's complicated. It's cowardice. His nostrils flared. I came here in good faith. You came here to make yourself feel better. He leaned back. Why are you doing this? Doing what? Trying to humiliate me. I reached into my bag. I'm not here to humiliate you. He watched as I pulled out the file and slid it across the table. What is this? Your legacy. He opened it. Timeline, receipts, messages, legal papers. His eyes darted line to line. You kept all of this? Yes. This is excessive. No. This is proof. He looked up. Proof of what? Who you are. This is revenge. This is evidence. He laughed, short, defensive. Is this supposed to scare me? No. Just remind you. He stared at the folder. You planned this. Of course I did. You waited. Yes. For what? For this moment. He pushed the file back toward me. You can keep it. No. That's your copy. His throat moved and I leaned in. I'm not your wife anymore. He blinked. I'm your reckoning. He didn't speak. The waiter arrived. Still deciding? He asked. I stood. No. I've already decided. Leaving? James asked, voice unsteady. Yes. He looked around the room. People are watching. Good. They'll think something's wrong. They'd be right. He looked down at the wine. So that's it? Yes. No last chances? I gave you all of them already. You're not even going to stay for dinner? I already ate. Then why come here? To let you know I'm done. You could have texted. I wanted you to see it on my face. What? Peace. He looked confused. That's what it looks like, I said. You wouldn't recognize it. I turned. Wait, he called after me. I didn't. Please, just talk to me. I did. I said without turning back. Can we go home and talk this through? There is no we. And I'm already home. He stood halfway. Don't do this. I paused at the door. You should drink the wine, I said over my shoulder. You're going to need it. I walked out into the street, cool air, quiet. Sky.my feet didn't shake. My hands didn't tremble. Behind me, he sat there, still holding the glass, like it could save him. You sure about the eggs? The cashier asked. I smiled. Yes, cage-free and overpriced. It's my one indulgence. She laughed. Sounds like freedom. I swiped my card. Exactly. My new apartment is small, but the sun touches every wall, even the corners glow now. You've got a nice place, Lena said, stepping inside. It's mine, I said simply. She walked over to the window. You always wanted light. I just forgot. I drink coffee alone on Sundays. No one to talk over me. No one to ask where I'm going or why I'm dressed that way. Just me, a ceramic mug, and silence. It's not lonely. It's sacred. You reading again? My sister asked on FaceTime. I held up the novel. Third book this month. She grinned. You used to devour stories. I forgot I was allowed to. The divorce papers came and went, signed, stamped, done. I cried once. Quietly, not for him, but for the girl I used to be. He married her, Lena said one morning. I stirred my coffee. I know. 3 weeks after your decree was finalized. I know. They're already in therapy. I looked up. Of course they are. She waited. Do you feel anything? I shrugged. Not hate. Not even relief. Then what? Distance. He sent a message last month. James, hope you're doing okay. I didn't reply, not out of spite. I just didn't need to. Do you regret it? My therapist asked during our final session. No, not even a little. Maybe the time I lost. But not the lesson. I started journaling again, today. I made lemon pasta. Today I laughed at a dog in a sweater. Today I wore red lipstick and didn't flinch. I bumped into Mark at the store. He looked surprised. You look different. I feel different. He shifted awkwardly. He talks about you. I don't. He said you never gave him a chance. I raised an eyebrow. And yet, I gave him years. My ex-mother-in-law called once, just wanted to say I'm sorry. I should have stepped in. I was quiet. I was scared he'd cut me off too. I nodded slowly. I get it. You were always too good for him, she added. I know, I said, and meant it. I visited the beach last weekend alone, took off my shoes. Walked into the surf, breathed in, exhaled everything I used to hold. You dating anyone yet? My sister teased again. No, why not? I'm not ready. Or just picky? Maybe both. You deserve someone gentle. I deserve myself first. Some nights I dream of the house we lived in, but I never walk inside. I just watch it from the street, hands in my coat pockets, wind in my hair, and when I wake up, I don't feel pain, just clarity. You seem at peace. Lena said over dinner. I am. She blinked. Really? Really?